Well, hello, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your March the 13th, just for today, in a meditation. I would like to dedicate this podcast today to Brandon, a nephew of mine who is no longer with us. Today would be his birthday. So I love you, Brandon. And perfect title. The title of the meditation for today is That One Special Person. Yes, okay. So let's go ahead and get into the meditation. It reads, a sponsor is not necessarily a friend, but maybe someone in whom we confide. We can share things with our sponsor that we might not be comfortable sharing in a meeting, That comes from the IP number 11, Sponsorship Revised. We've asked someone to sponsor us, and the reasons we have for asking that particular person are as many as the grains of sand on a beach. Perhaps we heard them share at a speaker meeting and thought they were funny or inspiring. Perhaps we thought that they had a great car and we would get one by working the same program they work. Or maybe we live in a small town and they were the only person who had the time available to help. Whatever our initial reasons for getting the sponsor we have, we're sure to find that our reasons for keeping them are quite different. Suddenly, they amaze us with some stunning insight, making us wonder whether they've been sneaking peeks at our fourth step. Or maybe we're going through some sort of a life crisis and their experience with the same problem helps us in ways we never dreamed possible. We call them in pain, and they come up with a special combination of caring words that provide genuine comfort. None of these remarkable feats on the part of our sponsor are mere coincidence. They've simply walked the same path before us. A higher power has placed that one special person in our lives, and we are grateful for their presence. Just for today, I will appreciate that one special person in my life, my sponsor. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer, please. Moment of silence now. Thank you, God. Grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What do you think about that? That one special person. The difference in when you initially find your sponsor and the reasons that you might have for asking your sponsor to be your sponsor versus where you're at with them today. Generally speaking, by the time we've gotten seasoned with our sponsor, we wouldn't trade them for the world. However, there are those times when the sponsorship relationship is no longer working, and it can be because of various reasons, right? It could be they're going through something and they're not available anymore, or they're less available. It could be you guys have a conflict of interest in some kind of way. Or, it could be the sponsors ending it or the sponsee is ending it. I've had it both ways. And whatever it is, if it goes sideways on you, just keep encouraged. Remember that some relationships are for a season, a reason, and a lifetime. And it would be beautiful to have a sponsor that you could say, this person has been my sponsor all of these years, but it does not always work out like that. And we want to appreciate this individual that is our sponsor for what they have done, what they're doing, and what they're going to do. We don't want to take our sponsor as just an everyday individual that we are dialoguing with. We have given this individual permission to speak into our lives in any area that we bring to them or that they notice. may affect our recovery. And with that being said, yeah, the attitude when it comes to our sponsor, you might have it, but it's better if you lose it because you've invited this person. You saw something in them and they took a chance on you and agreed. Now, I've had plenty of sponsorship relationships that have backfired on me. We started it out doing just fine, and then we hit a little area in regards to lifestyle. And before you know it, I don't hear from them anymore. This is what I do. This is what I try to do when I'm dealing with my sponsor and something comes up that she feels a need to correct or bring to my attention. I try to remember that I'm a grown adult. I can take the suggestion or I can leave it. I try to always be grateful in my expression of them taking the risk and bringing something to my attention, right? And then I try to make sure within a few days, if not no longer than a week, that I double back to them and ask them how they're doing. Because even if it's not setting right with me, I don't want them to get the impression that I cannot handle constructive criticism. So I practice my response to constructive criticism. And those are the steps that I take. I express gratitude for the observation, and I double back to them in a relatively short period of time and have a more light type of conversation, check in on them, keep the doorway of communication open. Because I can tell you, as being a sponsor of a few people, not as many as I used to be, but being a sponsor of an individual and you are bringing something to them that might be sensitive in nature, you always wonder, one, about your approach. If you said it the right way, did you keep your feelings out of it and kept it recovery based, using the steps and the spiritual principles to bring the message of hope to their situation? And two, whether or not they're going to abandon you in a sense, or leave you or fire you, if you will, because you had the nerve to bring the situation up. That kind of goes through your head all the time, no matter how small the thought is. And I tell you what, I've had a few people that just stayed quiet, for months on end, maybe even a year or more. And I've had to be the individual that said, it doesn't seem like this is working. Why don't you go ahead and release yourself to find another spot? I remember one lady, I said, why don't you find another sponsor? This doesn't seem to be working. Now I'm very serious on faithfulness in marriages, right? I don't have a high tolerance for cheating when it comes to my own life, but also the life of people that I might sponsor. And you know what? I hadn't heard from the individual for a while, but they had already found another sponsor. One person had already found another sponsor that I had intended to let go, and it just worked out. Today, take time to acknowledge your sponsor. I'm not saying kiss their behind or anything like that, but you have invited them into your life to speak into your life. And you indicated that you trusted them. And if you're not there, figure out why you're not there. There could be some reason for it that you can resolve with someone else, not necessarily your sponsor. Or you can chat me up. You can leave a message down below. And as soon as I see it, I promise I will respond. Or you can hit me up in my email, recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. I've enjoyed talking to you. Make it a beautiful day on purpose. I will be talking to you tomorrow.